All right. I think we are getting ready to go live. I am talking as if we could possibly be live, but I have absolutely no idea.
Maybe we're live.
Maybe we're live, maybe we're not, but we're not sure. The little blue bar is all finished. And now it's opened up to Facebook, but I don't believe that that's actually where we're broadcasting. Hoorah! All right. Well, James, thank you once again for joining me on this beautiful, up here anyway, it's rather blustery Friday morning, or Friday afternoon, morning where you are in Vegas. And today, James and I have been riffing already on competitors, competition, and why some people feel that being competitive can be a bad thing. So, James, why don't you talk a little bit about one of the conversations you had with somebody about them feeling bad about being competitive?
So, a good friend of mine, Christine Burns, and she comes to visit a little bit in Vegas, and we had this, brunch conversation as we often do one day about how fiercely competitive people actually need to give themselves permission to be competitive because you can actually talk yourself out of being competitive because either fear of failure, you don't want to get started, you'll win, or you might not, and that fear of maybe not, or someone judging, or the competition doing it better, kind of just holds yourself back, and that sometimes your own worst enemy or your biggest competitor is your own brain, and trying to get rid of that brain and be like, you know what, I'm just going to go get it done.
Yeah.
Is the best part,
Yeah.
and it's kind of been one of those things that rattles around for a while. I'm sure we could talk about it more. We talked about it for a while yesterday. But how do you get out of that mindset? And, we were talking about your one of your webinars that I fall asleep listening to, and then you made a comment that I'm going to let you go ahead with at this point. So, yeah.
Oh, now you're actually making me remember something that I said?
Yes, I am.
Well, I don't remember what I said, but when we had talked about competition, they don't pay you any money, right? They're not the ones who are going to pay your bills. And so if you spend so much of your time looking beside or behind you, you're going to miss the opportunities that are literally right in front of you. And then so many people will look around in the same way, either criticizing themselves, saying, like everyone else is doing it better. Who am I? That's whole imposter syndrome. Or they feel that somehow competition is not in their character, and so that they shouldn't be that way. Lots of different reasons why. Or the big one is fear of criticism, right? I think
Definitely fear criticism, but I think that a lot of people might even have a guilt when it comes to if they were to win, that they might feel guilty. It's okay to win. That's why we're playing this game.
Yeah, and a lot of people feel guilty because they feel that somehow by winning they have taken something away from someone else. And one of my favorite books, Atlas Shrugged by Ayn Rand, which I read when I was 13 and completely shaped my worldview at that point. And since it was all about producers and takers. And takers are the ones who will make you feel bad. They'll go and say, well, you've been so successful and I haven't been, so you need to give me some of that. And because there's enough of that going on in the world, people who are, I was reading on, or I was in the gym yesterday, I avoid the news like the plague, but it's really hard to get away from it. So, there was this thing, millennials upset with their salaries. Like, well, get in fucking line. Like, if you don't like it.
I'm upset with my salary. Oh, wait, I don't have one.
Right, exactly. Right. So if you don't like your salary, either you always have three choices: live with it, change it, or leave it. Right. I didn't like my salary. I didn't like working for people. So I picked the harder road, which was to start my own business. And everyone has that choice. So complaining does nothing but bring us down. And what it can do also, in the case of people who are trying to win, it can bring them down too. And the complainers do that complaining because they either feel unempowered, they feel that they don't know where to go, they want to better their lives, but they don't know what to do. So if they drag someone else's ass down, then they feel a hell of a lot better. But you have to.
But that's also those are all fear-based reactions. They also probably they all feel threatened by the fact that you're actually putting yourself out there.
Yeah. But those people aren't. Sorry, just to interrupt. But those people who have their own fears, they're not helping you. And you just need to, in terms of what you do about this, you need to, and it's in that book, The Fifth Agreement, which is the follow-up from the Four Agreements. It's all about respectfully listen, but be skeptical, which means you can listen to everyone and what they have to say, but you do not absorb it. You do not take on that baggage if it does not feel like something that is going to feed your soul or help you progress or make you into a better person. And when you approach every conversation like that, like, there's people who've been, have tried to shut me down and in various different ways. People who threaten me with lawsuits, and which I'm like, bring it, right? When you have that kind of an attitude, when someone's trying to pull you down, and you have the strength of character to say, okay, that's a very interesting opinion. Your fears, your baggage, I do not accept them as my own. You carry on and you worry a hell of a lot less. So sorry, you were saying, James.
I think no, it's fine. I think it's interesting that all of a sudden now we have a shameless plug opportunity that I didn't even see coming. But if you're on a team and you're playing a sport, I don't know, like football or something, then that whole team is competing together, but they all have a coach. And a lot of times the biggest difficulty I know that I've had, and I get up in the morning and go, oh shit, Rebecca's going to be on my case, is accountability. And accountability is so many different words. It's coaching, it's all kinds of things. And, the value in that is huge. Not because I'm afraid of you, well, I am, but more because when we're all self-employed and so many of us work from home and by ourselves, I mean, I'm in this little room by myself, it's very difficult to keep yourself on track or keep yourself accountable. But I know that, either 7 a.m. my time or 9 a.m. my time, that you and I have a call, and I'm like, oh my God, if I miss that call, she's going to harass me all day.
Okay, kick your ass. Yep.
But sometimes it's just that simple, or someone else just believing in you and saying, hey, that's a great idea, or just give it a shot. You made the comment to me yesterday about just post the damn video, James. It's not rocket science. And I had to laugh because, I edit our clients' videos, I come up with their content, I coach them through it, and I haven't even done one in months. And now I'm kind of addicted. So because you are being competitive, you are participating in the world. So I think that part of it is actually just giving yourself permission. Go ahead and be competitive, and you're only and screw the rest of your competition, because their income goals and your income goals might be completely different. But you have to decide what it is that you're going to win before you can decide that you've won or lost. Yep,
absolutely. And you know what? And James, this is the point.
We have a program for that.
We do. We have several, actually. We'll get to that in a second. But just going through some of the comments that are being posted on the live stream, David, you're talking about complainers equal whiners. You're absolutely correct. And like, no one wins by whining, like literally no one. Even the whiner doesn't win by whining. The complainer doesn't win by complaining. They just stay exactly where they are. What?
Yeah. They're disablers, not enablers.
Right. And they do that because they're trying to bring people down. So, whenever, and that's something that all of us can be really conscious of. And when you become aware that complaining roots you in negativity and roots you in a position where you can't, move ahead and you can't progress, you can say, okay, when you kind of feel that thing, oh, you're going to complain about something, just stop and say, okay, how about instead of complaining, I'll find a solution. And when you start thinking in those kind of different ways, it really makes a difference. But the thing you have to worry about is, you are the average of the 5 people you hang out with most, but I believe it's even bigger than that because we are exposed to social media. So we are actually impacted by, hundreds, if not thousands of people every day because of our social interactions. So we have to be really careful. And if you're surrounding yourself with whiners and complainers, you will become a whiner and a complainer. So you really need to be careful about making an assessment and saying, am I around the right kind of people? Because, nobody wants to do that. Right. And, and Jason, I don't really get for your comments, but I went to go for the jugular. Yes, we always go for the jugular. So, when you are really focused on succeeding, and succeeding could be whether you want to make a certain amount of money, you want to have a kind of a relationship, you want to position yourself in the community in a certain way, you have to compete. But the thing is, you compete without looking at your competitors in the same way you sell without actually selling. So when I sell through education first, right? I sell through videos like this. I sell through webinars. I sell through training. I sell through any kind of education I can push out there, because in so doing, people are like, okay, well, this was valuable, therefore I will pay for the other thing that you have. Like we've got Life on Fire launching. We've got my destination masterminds, which are going to be in Curacao this November, which is so exciting.
Can't wait.
I know and
we all have our own little style. So, you know, this is how this worked out for both of us. I don't know how many pens are on my desk. That, you know, you sell through education. And I've always said, you know, I've sold for 15 years, but I've never sold. I sell through relationship. Relationships are my key. I need to build those. But no matter what it is, it's okay to compete that way. That's your competitive advantage, right?
Right. But I'm just going to hold you right there, because to finish my thought from earlier, you hit the nail on the head right there. You compete without focusing on your competition. You know where you stand. You need to know who the players are, but the way you succeed is by focusing on your customers and what they need and how you can better deliver something for that. Like, so for my Life on Fire program, the 3-month training program, for my destination mastermind in Curacao in November, for my, you know, my little entry level Ignite Your Fire program, which is just $59 for the whole year. For every single one of those, I have one overarching goal, and that is more. I want you, when you join any of those programs, obviously there's the things that come along with it. You know, the 3-month program always has training and extra stuff, but I want you to feel like you've got such an incredible experience that you never even expected. And when you do that for your customers, who cares what your competition does, right? You just need to know that whatever you consider extra is not like what everyone else is doing, because then it's not exactly extra. So do some research, but don't worry about it. Don't let it keep you up at night.
Right. Then your only competitor truly is you, but compete with yourself. Don't be afraid to, right?
Yes,
guys, I just finished Life on Fire for the 4th time. I was the guinea pig, and I could probably stand to do it 6 more times. It's crazy. I'm hugely ADD. I'm just like, well, I just want to sell more and make more money, right? It's about way more than that. It's, you know, finding your why, 7 levels deep, all those things that I'm like, what is this hocus pocus? And the first time I did this was in person with Rebecca
last year. Yep.
August. I'm a bit of a slow burn. Took me a while. June. Oh, well, you know, same thing. And I've done it several times since. Now it's become its own program. It's incredible what you can garner out of that. I've had, you know, 63 career changes in my head during that process, and here we are, still in the same business. I've joined you, and it's all kind of locked down and nailed down, and can't hit the goal line or get the puck in the net or whatever it is you need to do unless you know what it is you're doing. So, you know, it's really important to do that.
Yep. And to do the one thing. And the other thing, you know, Gary Vaynerchuk says this, and I don't really care what people think about Gary, love him or hate him. But one of the things he talked about is don't focus on the things that you suck at. And Dean Graziosi also talks about that in his Millionaire Success Habits. Let your things that you suck at be the things you suck at. Find out what you're pretty good at or that you really enjoy, and then turn that into a dominating skill. And then from there, in terms of what business model you can apply it to, it becomes pretty clear about whether you should go like agency side and do it for people, or coaching side and teach other people how to do that skill as well, because it's achieved something for you. You know, and like those are the kinds of reasons why competition is good, because when you feel like you're competing with yourself, you're pushing yourself, right? Like I have a 1-year goal and I have a 3-year goal, and all I want to do is focus on how I'm going to get there, and how I'm going to get there is entirely based on how well I can make my experience feel for my clients, right? And so if they feel amazing, then they're going to talk about it. And that comes into talk triggers, which is a whole other kettle of fish, because today we're just talking about the power of competition without looking at your competition, the power of selling without actually selling.
Literally just stay in your lane, guys. You know, I've been in the mortgage business for 17 years and left it more times than I can count, but I always come back to it, and there's a reason, and you gotta like sit down and figure out why that is. What is it that you like about it? And then just, you know, it doesn't matter what the person at the desk next to you is doing, or the realtor, and whatever it is you do, as long as you're meeting your goals and you know what path you're taking. You know?
And that you're happy. Like part of what we teach in the Life on Fire program again, for those who aren't familiar, that's my 3-month program. We just talk about like what brings you joy every day, because I wake up every day so excited about doing stuff for my clients. But you go back a year and I just want to stab myself with hot pokers in the eyeballs, right? Because I hated what I was doing. I was good at it, but I hated it. And I had to understand, what was it about what I was doing that I hated so much? Is there a way for me to take the knowledge that I had and turn it into something different that I felt would make my life more fulfilling? And I did, right? So we've got the Destination Masterminds, we've got Life on Fire, I've got Ignite Your Fire. I'm going to San Diego in April because I want people to be able to take my curriculum and teach it themselves. So if somebody wants to build their own business because they hate their 9-to-5, but they don't know what to teach, right, like that's what I'm going to go and I'll be building that out for people to be able to take that certification so they can do it too. And it's all about, for me, what drives me is empowerment. Like I have brought quite a few people from the brink of complete hopelessness. And it feels good to do that. But I've also brought people in like hopelessness in terms of, we know Kevin, who, was told he was, at 46, 47 years old, he's too old, he's unemployable, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, no, you're not. You got so much information. It's not even funny. And I helped him build his own company. Right. And now he's gone and he feels so much better, and then he's taking on really big projects. And Jill, who's another one who went through the Life on Fire program, at 71 years old, she's fucking killing it. She has changed her life.
I love all her posts. Yeah,
I know. And this is someone who really, really struggled in life. And at 71, some people say, well, I'm 71, forget it. I've lived this far. I'll just keep on going. She is just like, no way that life is worth more than this. And she has delved into what really drives her, like that 7 levels deep, that finding your why that you were talking about, James. Like that one exercise, which is the first exercise that we do in Life on Fire, has completely transformed her life. Chip, who went through the program and had like a good hopper of sales and prospects, but nothing was closing. And it was really, really frustrating. And, at the end of the program, after he'd done a lot of work with himself and on his business and stuff like that, 8.1 million closes, and he is ready for the next 10. This is, and
right now.
Right. But they've competed with themselves. They have challenged themselves and they have risen to their own challenge. And that is what it will drive people. Stay in your lane, like you said, put goals in front of you, figure out what you want, figure out what brings you joy, discover an amazing customer experience that you can deliver. And that's it. And you will wake up every day happier than the last.
And to Rebecca's point, so it's not comfortable and it doesn't feel good, but it doesn't feel bad either. It's just different. And it's kind of that adrenaline feeling. So I hike I used to ski. So it's kind of that endorphin rush. And the first time, you refer back to my video from yesterday, it can be really awful. But you got to go back. You don't, Rebecca's been on a mission to get in shape, and she doesn't love it, but she does love it, because it's become part of it. And when you're doing your 7 levels deep, don't do it in public and don't wear mascara. It will make you cry. It's pretty profound, guys. And, Rebecca, I did this in person with her the first time, and she reminds me of Hugo sometimes. She can just kind of like keep yipping. And it's like, well, why? But why? And it's about more than why. It's about, okay, we all have to go to work. We all need to make a living, but why are you showing up? What is driving you to do that? And we all have a reason.
Yep.
But you could also want to be a ballerina and have to go to work to support that. And if that's your why, then that's your why. It doesn't matter. I'd love to be a ballerina, but
I'd be terrible. Like I actually did ballet when I was 6 years old, and I lasted 4 months. I don't think I was.
I'd fall right on my face.
Yeah, I'm not a very good dancer.
Not there.
Funny story, Mark, and I had this romantic.
Defeatist, though.
What?
Well, are we being defeatist or realistic?
No, we're being realistic, and this is how I know. So sometimes you have to do a little bit of research to know if something is in your wheelhouse or not. And so Mark and I had this romantic notion that Mark and I should learn to dance, and so we bought 10. He bought me for Christmas 10 dance lessons, and the best way of describing what we looked like was baby giraffes. We never remembered anything. We never could do anything. And by the end of it, we just basically didn't show up for the last 2 sessions. We're like, just take it as a tip and we'll just leave. We tried. We did. We actually tried. And we're just like, yeah, this isn't for us. We'll just do our little old person, dad and mom dance.
Little jig. Oh,
I don't even know. I never learned. So I never even did it.
Well, my story's a little different in that I've been a broker in Canada for, 15 years. And I've known you for almost 8 or something now.
Mm-hmm.
And I moved to Las Vegas last year and needed to be able to work remotely and thought that I couldn't. And somehow I've been able to maintain my business and live here. And that was in large part because of you and because of the program, because I was able to look at what I needed to do and why I was doing it. And a large part of the why was I have children and, all those lovely responsibilities, but I also wanted to be able to live out here through the winter months and skip all your terrible snow.
Yeah.
How was I going to do that? So once you figure out the kind of the crux of the issue and then just focus on that, I don't really care if someone's going to say, oh, well, James isn't a local broker. Well, actually, I am. I probably spend more money on local advertising than most. But if I listened to everyone else that said I couldn't do it, I wouldn't still be in this business.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Absolutely. So, competing is good. Focusing on competitors, not so much, other than knowing where you are. But, to your point, James, I just knowing what you want out of life and unapologetically going for it. And don't
nothing to be sorry for.
You need to answer to no one. You need to apologize to no one, and no one has the right to control your destiny. And if you're in that kind of a situation, I was in one where, I couldn't have started my business with my ex to save my life. It just wouldn't have worked. Right. It would have made him very, very fearful. So I upgraded to my current model and it's working out pretty well. So, all right, my dear. I
gotta run.
Yep, we both have to run. Awesome hanging out with you. So again, if anybody wants any information about Ignite Your Fire, Life on Fire, or the Destination Masterminds, that information will be coming out shortly. So look out for that. Or call James. Also that. Very good. Okay, thank you so much, James. I love you to pieces. I hope you have a wonderful afternoon and enjoy Vegas.
21 degrees. Love you. Bye.
Bye.